Good day, everybody. How you doing? It is Milton Spence, your owner and founder of Well-Rounded Consulting. I'm here with Miss Jasmine Reynolds. Okay, she's going to introduce herself to you guys, but first I want to say thank you so much for tuning in and for checking us out, for continuously being a supporter, and most of all, continuously staying well-rounded. Ms. Reynolds, give us a rundown. Let us know who you are. What's going on?
Hey, everybody. My name is Jasmine Reynolds, Black Fitness Mommy, your favorite redhead. And I'm a fitness expert. And what I like to do is help women increase their mindsets, their movement, and their pockets by way of making sure they have enough energy, enough health, because health is wealth, and making sure that they put themselves back at the top of their priority list.
All right. So you heard that health is wealth. Put themselves first, helping themselves be the best that they can be. I think it's pretty awesome that you have a niche like that, only because of the fact, sure, there's a lot of things out there for women, but a lot of times it's a lot more materialistic or something that's based upon helping them look a specific way to fit societal norms and things of that nature. But what you're doing is mental, physical transformation, because as you know, somebody who's working out as hard as you do, it's more about your mind than it is your body. So tell us a little bit more about you, as far as what's some things that you have coming up, because I'm leading you into some here. But tell us a little bit more, some things that you have going on. We want to know everything.
Okay, so right now, the biggest thing that I have that I'm working on right now, besides, I'm trying to build my business, is I have a new book coming out. It is called Your P19 Power Principles to Becoming a Female Boss. It's for those women who are out there who are looking for ways to connect with and align to different life principles that they can use to help them build, to start, build, and sustain a profitable and productive business. And oftentimes when I talk about my book, the more I talk about it, I realize that it's more of like a life transformation. Like, I give you real world scenarios, tips, things that I've gone through, and things that helped me start and build my business. And it's more than just being like a boss of a business, but it's like being the executive of yourself. So that's what I really love about the book. It's a way for me to share my story as far as my personal life, as well as show women that, there are different things that we can utilize outside of those physical things that will help us and that are beneficial to us in our lives, to help move us to like a different level. And that it's okay to pretty much boss up and level up. And really that's kind of what we need to do. Especially nowadays. It's nothing to take away from our men, but one thing that I can say, me doing this and doing my businesses and having a certain vision has helped me in my marriage. And so it's like I tell women all the time, like, we are the glue. And so if we are the glue, then there's certain things that we need to have in place and certain things that we need to do in order to help our family sustain and to really take care of ourselves. So it's a lot in the book. I love it. The book is called The Power of Your P, because every principle that's in there starts with the letter P. So the power of your pain, because sometimes we go through things and we just feel like, oh my God, why is this happening, to me? But one of the things I talk about in the book is that life happens for you and not to you. So everything that takes place, no matter how we may feel about it at the time, like, it's necessary. So there's power of your pain, power of your purpose, power of your power of partnership. We talk about a lot of different principles in the book, and I'm really excited about it. It should be, I'm in the editing phase right now, second part of the editing phase. And once that is done and I get the manuscript back in, we're going to be doing layout, and after layout, we're going to be doing release. So I am super excited about that. That's the biggest thing that I have coming up right now.
And that's awesome. I mean, considering the fact that it takes time to not only write a book, but to dedicate yourself to it and to make sure that you have a message that you're really trying to get out. Now, let me ask you this. Being that you've now written one book, okay, Is it something in you that wants to write many more, or is it just one more, two more, three more?
Absolutely. And the funny thing about it is, I had always thought about writing a book. I've had a few cousins that have written books. And me and my sister actually thought about writing a book, but how this particular book came about was so crazy. But in the midst of writing the book, I thought about two, three more books that I wanted to write, and I also want to get into doing children's books as well, because I want to do some projects with my son. So yeah, of course, absolutely.
Awesome, man. Because I mean, I'm like that myself. I have a book in the making, but it's not about me. So I
Hmm.
mean, I'm the same way. Like I started writing one, and I'm like, oh man, I love this. I want to do
All
like
right.
three, four, five, six more, and the ideas just branch out from there. And as you're talking, I'm listening to someone who has taken grasp or taken hold of all of those principles, if you will, in their life, and now turn it into something where they can say, look, I can show you how to get exactly not just where I am, but I can show you how to continue to climb with me, right?
Absolutely.
So that's pretty awesome of you to have your hand out to help other people like that. Now, as far as the power in your pain, right? Because
Hmm.
the power in your P is pretty much it's nothing that I've heard before. Never heard the power of your P and things of that nature. Um, in this regard. So let's break that down a little bit. Tell us, what is the power in your pain? What does that mean?
Um, okay, so for me, um, I think about, and in the book, I share about two or three different life experiences that were extremely painful for me. Like, for one, and the pain piece is in, I have like four different sections of my book. And the first one is called What Ignites You, like what gets you started. And so pain was one of those things that got me started with my business. And so I share about, how I was in education. I'm an educator by trade. I've been an educator for 10 years now. Love education, love the art of education, love teaching. And that's what makes even me as a health and fitness expert a little bit different, because I'm more than telling people this is what you do, and this is how you do it. I'm more focused on this is why. If I teach you why and you know the reasons behind it, then you can kind of grasp that. I share about how, being in education, and everybody knows that people they don't pay educators enough. So I found myself in a situation to where there was more month than there was money. And there were different things that I wanted to expose my oldest to, because I only had one child at the time when I'm sharing this story. And there were certain things that I want to expose him to that I couldn't expose him to because I didn't have the financial resources to do so. And for any parent who really wants better for their children, and not just saying, they want the latest clothes and shoes and things like that, but really want better, and really understands that the growth in life is about the exposure, and you're not able to do that because you don't have the funds to. I was a high school teacher. I was coaching every sport, basketball, high school basketball, middle school basketball, track field, cross country. I was doing it all. One, because I loved it, but two, because I needed the extra income so that I could just make it from month to month. So that was very painful, to have to go to the grocery store and not be able to get the things that you want. And I'm not really like a designer bag type of chick, and just somebody who just goes out and like to buy material things. I was literally just paying bills, going to work to pay bills and come home. And so just to not be able to go in the grocery store and go shopping the way that I needed to, or to try to get one of those stretch meals so that me and my son could eat, that was painful. But there was something inside of that, and realizing that that's not what I wanted for my life, that ignited something in me to say, hey, you got to do something different. You have all of these different gifts and talents, and you got to utilize them for something. Like, they were given to you for a reason. And so that type of pain, pushed me to start my business. Another thing that I share in the book is about my second son, and and I share a little bit about that. That was a very painful and traumatic experience for me, because I was in a relationship at the time that I thought was, going to the moon and back. Like, I thought we were on the same page, and come to find out we weren't on the same page. And here I am pregnant with my second child, and I didn't want to be. I had two children. They had two different fathers. I didn't want to be, that girl, even though my children was 7 years apart, 8 years apart, as a matter of fact, in hindsight, when I'm first looking at it, I'm first going through the experience, I'm like, oh my God, like, people gonna be like, oh my gosh, she got two kids, two baby daddies and stuff like that. They're not gonna look at the whole 7, 8 years apart. They're not gonna, it was just that hit me when I first found out that I was pregnant. And I went through depression because I was a bodybuilder. My body changed, and afterwards I went through some stuff with his father, and everything just really like hit me all at once. And it was like the darkest time of my life. And it's sad to say that, because here I am pregnant with a child, and that's a blessing, but I was disconnected for a while. But being in that and some of the things that I went through with that, and I do share it in the book, that type of pain said you have to do something different. That type of pain, and I tell people all the time, like, my children have really added so much value to my life, changed who I am as a person now. But when my second son came, he birthed a different part of me. Like, when I gave birth to him, I gave birth to a different part of me. My first son made me a woman. My second son made me a boss. So I love like the vulnerability inside of the book. And I love what pain can do for you. Like, in the gym, every time we're in the gym, we're lifting weights, it don't feel good. But the results that you get afterwards, you know what I mean? That pump that you get right afterwards, like, it's all like exhilarating, and it always takes you to a different level. And so that's the same thing in life. And that's kind of what I'm trying to portray in the book. And that's kind of what, not portray, but convey in the book, how your pain can ignite something in you that you didn't even know that was there. So that's one of the ways that I shared in the book.
Man, that's not only an awesome story, that's an awesome truth, and that's something I believe anybody could relate to, considering the fact we've all gone through some dark times, and those secret times, or those alone times when we have those thoughts. And a lot of times it's built upon what other people may think of us.
Right.
And I've always been one to say that your happiness is not the summation of what other people have to say.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Based upon what you think and what you say and how you see your situation.
Right.
So speaking on that, considering the fact that you have yet to talk about 1P, and that's the perfect mommy mix. So dive in a little bit to the perfect mommy mix. Tell us all about that.
Okay, so the Perfect Mommy Mix is my online community, fitness community. And it kind of derived out of that whole pain and the purpose that I have on my life to help as many women as I can. But the Perfect Mommy Mix is it's my baby. Like, to be real, it is my baby. I launched it in November of 2018. January of 2018 is when I had my son, and I was at my heaviest that I ever been. When I found out in 2017 that I was pregnant with him, I was at 142 pounds. I was actually in preparation for my second figure competition when I found out I was pregnant. And so I had my competition, and after I had my competition, I said, I'm just going to enjoy and embrace being pregnant. Little did I know that the changes that happened in my body and how they happened so quickly, I was like, oh my God. That was one of the things that added to the depression, to be honest with you, because once you know and realize what your body can do, and you've worked so hard to transform your body in that manner, and then you just see it changing, even though you're pregnant, it's a weird thing, but it was kind of hard. But after I delivered him in January, no, let's back up. Before when I was 30 weeks pregnant, I had already got up to 213 pounds. So you imagine going from 142 to 213 pounds, and you really aren't supposed to gain, they say around 30, 40 pounds with pregnancy. So I had already surpassed this, and that was at 30 weeks. So I still had about 8-10 weeks to go if you're talking about full term. So I was at a point where I told the doctors to stop telling me, what I weighed. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to know. It was crucial for me. Well, after giving birth to my son, I couldn't break the 190 mark. So of course, once you have the baby and everything's out, and I had this plan in my head that, once I drop him in January, they're going to clear me by March. I'm going to be breastfeeding, so I'm going to snatch back like I did with my first child. Because my first child, I was like already down to like a great size, like within 4 weeks of having him. But I'm just thinking the same thing's going to happen with Caleb that happened with Christian. Yeah, that wasn't the case. So I got down to probably like 190, 188 pounds, and I could not get below that. At this time now, I have 2 children. I'm working full time. I'm in school full time. So I don't have the time to go to the gym. And that hurt me too, because the gym was life for me. Like the gym was my escape. So I decided in, I think, April, because we had a girls trip coming up with my sorority, Zeta Phi Beta, shout out to the Zetas. And I had a line sister trip coming up. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to get right for this trip. I'm going to go back to the one person that I know can get my body right. And that was my coach. And so I went back to him for a month or so, got on a certain meal plan. I'm just like, I'm about to be right. Did not happen, did not go as planned, because one thing that I didn't realize at the time was that my coach was phenomenal for athletes, you know what I mean? For those people who were not nursing mothers. I'm a nursing woman. I'm a nursing mother at this time. So my body is, and I just had a baby. So it already takes about a year for women to get back, for their bodies to really heal back to just its normal state. And then on top of that, like I said, I'm nursing. I didn't have a body of an athlete at the time. I had a body of a nursing mom. And so his plan didn't work for me because it wasn't suited for me. And so after going to him for about a month and a half or whatever, I think I only lost 4 pounds if I didn't gain those 4 pounds. Like I don't know what happened. And so that really disturbed me. I ended up having a nervous breakdown, or no, an anxiety attack on this one trip that I was preparing for. And I share a little bit more about that as well. And so something said to me, like, I got to do something different. I got to find something that's going to be suited for my body as a woman and a nursing mom. And I have to do it where there's no working out involved, because I have very little time. And so I started to research. Like I said, I was in school getting my specialist at the time. I'm using their catalogs. I'm using everything I'm supposed to be using for school, Googling everything. And then I come up on this structure and this eating regimen. And I said, you know what? I'm going to try it for myself. And so I took a little bit of what I knew from bodybuilding and eating then and this eating regimen, put it all together. And my husband and I, he was my boyfriend at the time, but we started at the same time with the same regimen. And I think in 6 weeks time, I had dropped 20 pounds. It only took him 4 weeks to do like 13 pounds, but you know how y'all's bodies are different now. And I was so mad, but you know, it was good because we did it together, and we were very supportive of one another, and we kind of told each other that we wouldn't have our first cheat meal until we both hit 20 pounds. So he waited on me for a while because he hit it like that. But yeah, within my 6 weeks time, I lost 20 pounds, no working out, and I'm an advocate for movement. I'm definitely advocate for movement, but to be able to say that I did this with all natural foods, no supplements, no gimmicks, no flat tummy teas, none of that, just food. And so after doing that, something kind of dropped in my spirit and said, now I didn't take you through all of this to learn all of this to not share it. And so I'm like, okay, so what you want me to do? So I want you to share it. I want you to share with other women, especially moms. And so that's what ended up happening. I formulated the perfect mommy mix that encompasses a lot of different strategies that will help and aid women, especially those who are nursing moms, lose the weight, but still be able to nurse and, still be able to keep their peace of mind. And it has a little bit of movement in it so that they can catapult what they're going to be doing or the results they're going to see with just eating all natural foods. I like to say that I'm the body transformer for moms. I do this with no knives needed. If you decide you want to go under the knife, so good. I mean, that's good for you, but let's make sure our body stay. So do that and you make that decision, and you're in your healing process, you can heal the way that you need to heal. And so let me teach you how food aids the body. Let me teach you the different things that you want to stay away from and why. So that once you come through my program, if you decide to stay or if you decide to leave, you have all the tools necessary to help you beyond me, because that's what I'm about. That's what a real teacher is. That's what a real coach is. No teacher or coach keeps you in their class or in their programs for forever. It's like a mentorship, it's a guidance, and then it's a release. And so if you decide to leave, I'm comfortable in knowing that you have all the tools necessary to do so. And like I said, you guys' bodies are different than ours. And one of the things that I noticed that a lot of things that I was seeing were male driven. And who can tell you better about a female body than a female? And so that's why I created an online fitness community, a safe space for females, especially moms, to be able to come and get their body best, come and get their mind right. Let's elevate you in more ways than one so that you can be best and be the best for your family and for the community that you serve.
Wow. All right. Well, that's I'm not going to continue to say that's awesome, but it is, the fact that how you built your business, and not just that, the perfect mommy mix, and your story of how you got there. What I love is that, and the reason I created the show, honestly, is because it's a lot of people out here who have stories behind not just their business, but in their life. Mm-hmm. And me as a life coach and as a business coach, one of the things I always get to is the bottom of who that person is, the fabric of who they are. Mm-hmm. That helps me either A, drive them towards said purpose that they're looking for, mm-hmm. or B, help them come out of the funk that they're in order to get them back on track. And that's, for me, any body who cares about people, that's what they should be doing in the first place, is helping that person be the best that they can be, considering the fact that we have all been through traumatic experiences and hard times.
Right. So
for me, listening to everything that you've said, the only thing I want to really know is, how did you, because I continue to hear you say it came in my spirit, it came to me. Mm-hmm. So, I know, I don't know your necessarily belief system. Mm-hmm. Me, I would say, the Holy Spirit said to me, mm-hmm. I prayed and God spoke to me. So mm-hmm. How is it that it came to you? What is it? How is it that you came to know not just your purpose, but mm-hmm. your exact path? Because I just dropped 2 more P's. Purpose path. How did you came to that?
Honestly, of course it was God-given. It was definitely God-given. And it's definitely God-driven. And I'm going to be honest with you, like, I keep discovering the path. And I keep discovering that there isn't necessarily one exact path. I was talking about this at the V-Spot, which is an event that a few of my sorority sisters have, the Therapeutic House, which is Danielle Galloway and Melody Moore, and then That Chocolate Vegan, which is my line sister Erin Wells. They have this event for women called the V-Spot. And so one day the topic came up about, your purpose. And to me, your purpose kind of leads you on your path, but that's the thing. Your purpose, people sometimes feel like your purpose is one thing. And I think that it's a it could be a multitude of things, because like even in my family, as the woman, I serve a lot of different roles, and we and my husband and I, we partner on a lot of different things. There just isn't one specific thing that I am driven to do, and that's why I think a lot of people get messed up with, because when they're searching for their purpose, it's like, what's that one thing? And it's not a one thing. So how did I come upon my different paths? It's like I'm this big river, and then I have these little streams where I'm supposed to hit and reach different people in different ways. And so honestly, it just comes through living. It just comes through exposure, and it comes through experience, because I just feel like there are times when I thought that there was this one thing that I was supposed to be doing, and it wasn't that I wasn't supposed to be doing it. It was just supposed to be done in a different way. For example, I'm an educator. I was in the classroom up until a few months ago, because I went FTE. And FTE, that means full-time entrepreneur. So I took that leap and I went FTE. And so as much as I try to get away from the classroom and educating, I find myself like, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. That's what's in me, to be an educator. Does that mean that I have to be an educator in the classroom? I can do that, but I can also be an educator to women. I can also be an educator to young people, to inspire our youth and stuff like that. Like, I just feel like there's not one specific driven thing. I think it's innate in us, and that God gives us so many talents, and we shouldn't bury any of them. And so I think it takes a lot of trial and error, to be honest with you, because no experience is a bad experience, and we have the opportunity to learn from everything that we do. And how did I get here? It's just really, it's God driven. I was sitting in, because I had a coach to help me write my book. Her name is Jasmine, phenomenal. She's also my publisher as well. And I'm sitting at Business Behind the Book, which is another program that she has inside of her business that teaches you the business aspect of writing a book. And so I'm sitting there, and I have a moment where I break down, because at that moment I realized how I felt like there were certain parts of my life that were painful that brought me to that exact moment. And what I mean by that is, I'm sitting here speaking to her, learning about how to utilize the business piece of my book, and I remember how I got to her. I remember the coach that I had to help me build my fitness business, how I got to her. And I remember it all started from that one day saying, I did not teach you all of this stuff, give you all of this for you to keep to yourself. From that one moment, and certain people were placed in my life that had certain things that I needed to take from and that I needed to give to as well. And so there was an exchange, and in every area there was an exchange. And so I'm sitting there, and I have a moment, because I realized that my son being born, that whole thing, more month than money, the way that I was introduced to my book coach and my coach that helped me build my business, they've been in business for years together, and I never knew that. I never knew it. And so one day I was looking for it and saw them in a room together, and it was almost like God saying, see, I got you, right? I got you. You know what I mean? I got you. I'm placing you everywhere that I need you to be. I was an instructional technology coach for Kennesaw State University. That's the last place that I was as far as in the classroom and teaching, and where I would teach, coach, and train teachers how to use instructional technology and personalized learning in their classrooms. But I've always been a coach, a teacher, and a trainer, always, all my life. And so I'm sitting there and I'm looking at every little piece and how it ended me up in this one space and being able to share and connect with women. Now I can connect with women who suffer with depression, postpartum depression. I can connect with those women who feel like they may be less than because they have multiple fathers with children and people don't understand it. I can now connect with being the single mother. I can now connect with being a wife. Like, God set me up to be able to make connections with all of the people that I need to make connections to, so that I can make the impact that He wanted me to make. Could I have done that on one path? No, I couldn't have. So that's why I feel like it's a multitude of paths. It's like you're a river and you have these different streams and they all come back to this one ocean. Like, I don't think that there's one path. And I hope that that makes sense. I hope that I conveyed that the way it's going on in my mind and the way it's coming to me right now. But I just don't think that is one necessary path, you know? I just don't.
Yeah, it's not one path. It never is. I mean, because when you think about any life, or if you study the Bible, I mean, obviously the name we all know is Jesus Christ. When you think about his life, sure, he had a purpose, right? But every step or every journey that he took along to reaching that final day, you know, it all led to one thing, to the point where everybody, even those who believed and didn't believe,
Right.
couldn't deny what they saw.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
you know, if he didn't go through those things, we would not necessarily respect him as who he is. His experiences
Absolutely.
make him who he is, not just the name. Okay.
Right.
Jasmine Reynolds. Oh, okay. Well, who's that? You know.
Right. Right.
You know, like, what does she have to? What value does she bring to this situation?
Right.
How can she? Okay, sure. She looks like she's in shape, but okay, so does that girl over here. So what's so special about you? You know what I mean? That's where I honestly believe people who follow in their path and follow in their purpose understand that it's more important to be about your business every day. And I don't mean just the business you created, but be about the business of living the life that's meant for you to live.
Absolutely.
Right, every day. So congratulations on becoming FTE.
Yeah, thank you.
That's the first time I heard it. I've been FTE now for about 4 months, I think. 4 months. So,
okay, congratulations. Woo.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Now, okay. So you're a full-time entrepreneur. You've stepped outside of the 9 to 5 realm. Did that bring you any sort of, put it like this, how do you stay not just organized, right? Okay. But how do you stay working? Because you now have expectations of just you. Okay?
Right.
Obviously you have to serve your client base, but the fact of the matter is you could turn your phone off and take a nap if you want to. You could turn it off if you want to. You have the option to turn it on and turn it off. How do you control your environment? How do you control yourself to the point where not only that you stay busy, but you stay productive?
Well, one of the P's that I talk about is personal awareness inside of the book. And I have to take a real hard examination of myself and just really be aware of me. And so I know for me, I find that I'm quite different than a lot of people. So, you know how people like to come in solitude and just regroup and refocus and refuel? A lot of people are like that. I'm not like that. What I mean by that is I have to be around people. I get my fuel and my energy from people, which is probably why I'm good at doing what I do. Like for my husband, he's a homebody. He likes to stay at the house. If he doesn't have to go out with people, he'll be fine. And if he's out, he's sociable, but he's not like me. And so because I'm that way, and because home is comfortable, I stay away from home if I feel like I need to stay away from home. If I really need to be productive, if I really need to get my juices flowing, I'll go somewhere like a park, or there's a local Starbucks near to me. There's this one place I like to sit. I never sit inside. I always sit outside. I don't know what I'm gonna do when it gets cold, but I always sit outside. And there's something about being outside and working that works for me. And so another thing that I try to do is I try to be honest, because I do have those times, because being FTE is different for me. I've had a job since I can remember, probably two. So having a steady paycheck come in every month because I'm an educator every 2 weeks, that's what I was used to. And so to be FTE now is like, you got to keep, you got to work now. And so not that I wasn't working before, but it's like now it's more purposeful. Like you would go out and you would work your behind off in somebody else's job, in somebody else's industry, to make lower than what the owner was making. You know what I mean? Like, so now you got to do that same thing for yourself. So I do the same thing that I did when I was with my last job. I get up, or I try to get up every morning around 3:45, 4 o'clock. I do my hour of power where I do, my meditation and my gratitude and all of that stuff, and just get myself pumped, get myself going. I'm a movement child, so everything that I do, there's some type of movement inside of it. I don't care if I'm dancing in the mirror for a whole 5 minutes. Like, I do those things to get my blood flowing, to get me up and at it. And then I wake my children up just the same way that I would do. And if I don't have clients at the gym that day, then I'm going to Starbucks, I'm going somewhere, and I'm doing something productive to work on my business. I've designated days where there are analytical days, and then there are creative days, so that I can keep my mind focused, because this multi-talented thing it could be the gift and the curse, because I could be all over the place. My thoughts can be all over the place. And, being a creative and wanting to move forward so quickly can also hinder me sometimes. So I have to be brought, back in. I have to bring myself back in so that I can remain productive. And also, when I'm having those tough times, I have learned to embrace them. Usually I would fight them and try to rush my way beyond them, which would leave me even more anxious and even more distraught and all over the place. But I've learned to embrace those times, and that allows me to be productive. And also my husband being in a space to where I can openly share how I'm feeling about this journey, cry when I need to cry, and be like, oh my God, I'm unstoppable when I'm unstoppable. Like, when I feel that way, like, to be able to do that keeps me having that space of vulnerability and support, keeps me productive. And just him being just honest with me. Like, he is not a yes man by any means. And he's someone that I know that's going to tell me the truth and hold me accountable, but also to say too, Jazz, like, you've only been a full-time entrepreneur for this amount of time. Like, it hasn't even been a year. I'm probably the same amount of time. I left my job in June. So, that keeps me productive, to know that I have his 100% support. And, those things.
So having your husband's support, not just that, but having that drive, and being FTE for sure, you're gonna have those days. You're gonna be like, heck yeah, man, I'm the boss.
Yeah.
Oh man, you're gonna have them days like, man, look, man, ain't nobody looking at my junk, man. What's going on, man? Look, I need to get me a client.
Right.
Like, you had them days like, you know what? I got a real good idea. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. Yeah. And you had them days like, man, I'm about to go get a job.
Right. Absolutely. It's all of that. Like, oh my God, why did I leave my job? Let me go back. Yeah.
And the crazy part is that psychology and what we go through is natural. So it's one of those things that we have to go through, embrace, but also have principles, as you say, to always come back on and say, well, no, although I'm feeling this way, I'm not going to follow that feeling. I'm going to follow the principle and follow the staples in my life that I know I need to follow. Now, you continue to say the word boss, but you have not talked to me about the boss conference that you went to.
Ooh.
All right, now just dive in then. If you're that excited, just dive in.
Oh my gosh. Listen here. One thing that people who follow me are probably going to hear a lot of is experience. Life is about experiences. You got to think about it. Think about an experience that you've had that evoked some type of emotion, be it good or bad. You always remember that experience. You know what I mean? for instance, like when I got married, that was an experience for me. That was one that evoked the emotion of happiness, ultimate fulfillment, peace, in a sense, for me. And so that's something that I will always remember because of the feeling that it evoked. When I tell you this boss conference was an experience that expanded my mind beyond what I could have ever thought and or imagined. And it is one that I'm going to hold on to for forever. Courtney Adeleye is the boss of all bosses. And I say that because not only does she share her experiences, but to be in a room with her and other women who, you know, have leveled up and bossed up to the masses. You had Reynolds Super Scent there. You had Jessica, the real BB Judy. You had Miss Bling. You just had Yandy Smith was in the building. We had so many different it was so many different like celebrities there. But of all of them, they were all down to earth. Like all down to earth. It wasn't what I would have expected for celebrities to act like. Like, it's almost like I can't even put it into words, but she provided an experience. One where we had a lot of fun. We got to connect with so many different other Black women who were either not even in business yet, looking to start a business, have started their businesses in the beginning stages, those who were very mature in their businesses, and being able to sit there and share knowledge and share who you are. And I do talk about the power of presence. So in my book, and how important it is to be present in those moments, how important it is to show your presence in those moments and let those people know, hey, I'm here. This is who I am. Don't be afraid to share your gifts and talents. And I got to get all of that in this conference. And I never really been to a conference to where you can get that much knowledge and have that much fun. And to end the conference with a yacht party. I've never been on a yacht. I've never been on a cruise. But to be on a yacht, right, to be on a yacht. And I'm telling you, it wasn't like she just rented a yacht and say, hey, you guys are gonna come on. No, this woman decked this yacht out. And if it didn't teach me one thing, it wasn't about, oh, I want to have this much money or whatever. It was, I want to be able to have a platform and the resources to give back to women the way she just gave to us. Like that's the type of emotion and that's the type of message I got out of this. Like, I want to be able to give back this way. But Courtney talks a lot about it doesn't even take money to give back. When you give your time, when you give your knowledge, when you give your expertise, that's a way of giving back. And it also taught me, because this is one thing that I struggle with as an entrepreneur, is that it's okay for us to charge for our gifts and our talents. Like, this is us sharing. That's the exchange. And so you can do more when you have more of those financial resources to give back to those people who may not need it. Like, a lot of people don't know, but shoot, it's probably like a third or even half of those women who were able to attend that conference, Courtney paid for. She paid for them to come to her conference. You know what I mean? So, and she does giveaways all the time. So it's just hearing those stories from the bottom, where Miss Bling talked about how if it wasn't for, I don't know if it's Dash Industries, but the Kardashians, when they had the store, she was sending it, she was being persistent. And I talk about the power of persistence. So they were hitting on all of my P's in there. So it was like God was saying, yes, you're on the right track with this book, honey. But she was just talking about how persistent she was in sending the things that she had blinged out, the items, the products that she had blinged out to Dash, and they would send it back, and then she would send it back, and they would send it back, and she just kept being persistent in sending it. And one day they caught on to it, they saw it, and then they asked for more. And so it goes back to exposure. Now her product had exposure, and it kind of grew from there. And she was just saying, like, the woman that you see sitting on the stage right now is not who I was and who I started out. So it kind of really relaxed me into that, that beginning entrepreneur stage. Like, there's always going to be a beginning. You can be here, but it's going to take some time. And to see that, we think people have these overnight successes, but it's not like that. Like Super Scent talked about how if there was something that she could sell, she was going to sell it. And if it was CDs, wings, shirts, and I was like, man, I remember being in elementary school and middle school, and there were certain letters that I could draw or cards that I could make. And, oh, can you make me one? Yeah, for $1. Sure can. You got this candy, I'll sell it to you. There's nothing wrong with that. And then just like really, what a lot of people don't know about me is that I did hair for a long time, braids, sew-ins, things like that. And when I was in middle school, I started braiding. We would have these free days in our classrooms, and the girls would want to have their hair braided. And I remember Alicia Keys had first came out. Somebody was like, hey, Jess, can you do this? Yeah, I believe I can do anything. So I'm sitting up here looking at the cover, looking at Alicia Keys' hair and braiding this girl's hair. And before I knew it, people was like, you can braid for real? I was like, shoot, I can braid for real. Now people asking me to braid their hair. Sure can. Come to my mama's house, bring you $10. And I started out braiding hair. Women's hair for $10, girls' hair for $10, and boys for $5. And until my mama was like, who are, she would come home like, who are these children sitting in my house? Like, I had people lined up on my mama's couch waiting to get in my chair for me to braid their hair for $10. And I started doing micros. I started doing micro braids for $25. And so, like, I had shirts and stuff that I would cut up. Like, I've been in this for a while. I just didn't know. I just thought I was having fun and making money. I didn't know I was an entrepreneur. So it's just to hear those stories and to be able to connect with those stories with those people and just get in different gems. It was amazing. And then to be able to pitch to Courtney Adelaide, I still haven't heard anything back, so I'm just assuming they didn't pick me, but it's okay. But just to be able to have that experience to pitch to her, to have her to listen to me, and in those 30 seconds to a minute to be able to share a little bit about me and what I felt like I could bring to her company was amazing. And to be able to say, it's about planting those seeds. It's about planting those seeds. And I just know that if they don't remember my name, they're going to remember the energetic redhead with all the muscles. Yes. Planting those seeds. It's all about planting the seeds. So I'm good with that. I am good. I feel like there was a lot of good exchange of energy, and I cannot wait to go back in 2020. Like, it was amazing. And anybody who knows Courtney knows that she always goes above and beyond, and everything is always better than the last. So I know 2020 gonna be in there. I'm gonna be lit, and I'm gonna have even more to share because the business is going to be bigger, and so there's gonna be an even bigger exchange next time I go. So yeah, it was an amazing experience.
Awesome. So now you bossed up, you're going to the boss conference. Eventually, maybe one day you'll have your own conference.
Absolutely.
And things of those nature where you bring the power of the P to fruition, and people are there talking about their P's and their principles and everything like that. You help people shape theirs. See, I'm putting out ideas. Anyway, there you go. Take it. All you can have. So, to wrap up, I want you to leave us with a final word. Okay, some wisdom from Miss Reynolds, and let us know. I'm not gonna tie it to anything, but just give us a final word, something that you just either from your spirit, off your heart, off your mind, something that you really want us to take away from this experience with yourself.
What I really want, and this can go for everyone, male, female. But it's something that I preach inside of my community all the time. Oftentimes we're taught to be selfless. And I think we take that out of context sometimes, because I feel like we give so much of ourselves that we don't have, we give out. We don't have enough to sustain us in what we're supposed to be doing in our purpose and the impact that we're supposed to have. So what I like to say is choose you and watch everything else choose you too. You cannot give from an empty cup. So that means that you have to keep yours filled. And in order for you to keep your cup filled, you have to pay attention to yourself. You have to choose you. Okay? That doesn't mean that you neglect anybody else, but if I choose me and I make sure that I am at my best, that I am mastering life, mind, body, soul, spirit, that I can give all those things to the other people that I come in contact with. I don't have to fake anything. It's all natural and it's all authentic. So if there's one thing that I could leave, is choose you and watch everything else choose you too. It wasn't until I started to choose myself that this life blossomed and manifested. You know, it wasn't until I chose to get deeper in my spirituality. It wasn't until I chose to take my body back. It wasn't until I made the choice that I dictate how I'll be treated and won't be treated, and that is my power. And to also to accept help, you know, and accept support. Because even I'm going to my women now, like sometimes I know I grew up in a single mother household, and my mother taught me everything that she knew and only what she knew. And that was to be strong and independent. And I'm a very strong and independent woman. But this is how it helped me. I know that my husband knows that I am the right partner for him because of my independence in a sense. But I've had to learn and grow how to accept his support because I wasn't groomed that way. So yes, help, support, embrace it. It's okay to be a strong, independent woman, but it's okay to be dependent as well. And it's okay to ask for help when you need it. Last thing is embrace everything about yourself. Embrace all of your emotions, because your emotions are just signals that are telling you that there's something going on or something that needs to be addressed in your body physically or emotionally. So just embrace everything about yourself. Be very aware. Everything starts with personal awareness. And so, those are my final things. You know, choose you, watch everything else choose you too. Accept help and support, ask for help and support if you need it, and embrace everything about yourself. That's it.
That's awesome. And I'm going to piggyback on that and say, I always tell every client of mine, you know, once our sessions are done or our months together are over, I say, you know, don't forget everything you want, everything that you specifically want is actually attainable.
Absolutely.
It's not based upon anyone else. It's based upon what you want. And that goes right into what you're saying as far as choosing you, accepting that help and support. And I always have to teach people, just because you want it and somebody else who's close to you, husband, right, or wife, doesn't want it, doesn't mean they can't help you.
Right. Absolutely. Oh, you just said a mouthful, didn't you? You just said a mouthful.
Yeah, so they can help you, but you got to know for a fact that you are the one that wants it. So you have to be the one that drives it. You have to be the one that pushes it and pulls it and whatever the case. And sometimes you may have to pull them into it in order to help get it to where you need it to be.
Right.
So be okay with that. Be okay with that.
Yeah.
All right. So one more time, let us know how we can find you. How we can get on this perfect Miami mix and be all fine and all of that good stuff.
So you guys can find me on Instagram at Black Fitness Mommy. I also have a business page on Facebook, Black Fitness Mommy. But you can also follow me on Facebook at Jasmine S. Reynolds. And you can go to my website. My website is thejasminereynolds.com. Okay, the Jasmine, and Jasmine is spelled Jasmyne. Reynolds.com, thejasminereynolds.com. Other than that, if you're in the Atlanta area and you want to train with me personally, you can find me at Gladiator Fitness on 11th Street. Let me take a look. It's 668 11th Street in Atlanta, Georgia, 30318. So come and see your girl. Also on my Instagram page and on Black Fitness Mommy page on Facebook, there is a link tree where you can go in and you can book your fit discovery call. And then that's where we'll have a 15-minute call. You tell me what your goals are and we'll find the right program for you. I do offer, like I said, the Perfect Mommy Mix, which is an online fitness community that opens up every month. Just for my women. And though it's called the Perfect Mommy Mix, you do not have to be a mommy. We have a number of non-mommy mixers. We just call them mixers. So you either have your mommy mixers or your mixers. It's okay. Just come on in. We just want to help all the women that we can, because you may be a mother figure, you know what I mean? And you may be planning to have a mom. Have a child. So to become so yeah, me one-on-one. You can work with me virtually. I also do group classes at Gladiator Fitness. Those are held in the early mornings or the late afternoons, before work and after work hours. So yeah, just get on one of those platforms. You can shoot me a DM, shoot me an email. Hey, I am here, I'm ready, and let's go.
Awesome. So I want you to know that this is going to be heard in many different countries. So I hope you reap some benefits from that. I really do. I pray that you do.
Thank you.
So once again, and I always like to end it by telling my guest or whoever is on, thank you so much for taking the opportunity and for giving me the opportunity to have you on this day. And mostly I'm humble and I'm grateful to hear your story. It gives me fuel. It helps me in ways that maybe you don't know. We all could take something from each other. Absolutely. And so I've taken something from you as far as the P's and those things. And no, I never thought of it as a river with many streams. I never thought about it like that. I only thought about it as you said. I have a purpose. This is what I'm meant to do, and I'm going to go this way, and whatever path leads me, whatever, I'm just going to go. I never thought that I had more than one thing or multi-talented. I knew I could do many things. Right. I have 4 businesses. Oof. Okay. So I know I could do many things. I just didn't think about it in that realm. I always thought it was just tied to just one. Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much. Thank you. And yeah, y'all make sure y'all check her out, man. You heard all the handles. Make sure you not only check her out, but stay tuned in. She's always posting her workouts on there, and always got a good message underneath them. It's not just, hey, come look at me work out. Make sure you read what's underneath. And right. She always has the power of your P tied into her messaging.
Absolutely.
All right. So thank you, Miss Reynolds, and we are signing off.
All right. Bye.